Welcome back to Twirl Around the World. My name is Lexi, and I'm here today with Collegiate Fantastic Champion and University of Cincinnati featured twirler, Anita Ney. All right, Anita, let's dive straight into us. Tell us a little bit about you.
So I am in my fourth year here at the University of Cincinnati, majoring in health sciences with a double minor in medical sciences and biology. I'm on a pre-medical track. I started twirling when I was about 9 years old, and I think I kind of have a more unique story for how I got involved. My mom wasn't a twirler or anything like that. I actually was at a school that had an after-school twirling program at the time called Let's TWIRL, and all of the girls in my grade were involved in it. So me being new to the school thought it would be a great way for me to make some more friends. So I wanted to get involved with it. Unfortunately, it was too late in the school year for me to join. So I had to wait until the next year in third grade to join. Of course, as soon as I joined, all of my friends quit, but I stuck with it. And to make a long story short, I started competing. My family had to move to Ohio because of some family stuff going on. And I was able to still compete while I lived in Ohio. And then I became the featured twirler at my high school, which sort of set me up for college twirling. And now here I am at UC in my fourth year twirling here.
That's awesome. Now that everybody knows a little bit more about your background, tell us about why you chose your school and if you have any favorite memories there.
I actually had a short list of 3 criteria when I was looking into colleges and universities. First thing on my list was that I've known ever since I can remember that I wanted to be a doctor. So I was looking into schools that had good programs for undergraduates looking to go to medical school, if there were opportunities for volunteering and opportunities for undergraduate research. Second thing on my list was that I knew I wanted to twirl in college, and I knew I wanted to twirl on a football field. So I looked into schools that had good college twirling programs. One of the twirlers at UC at the time was actually one of my old teammates, and she was also the featured twirler before me at my high school. So we had a connection there, and I was able to talk to her and learn about being able to pursue twirling at UC. So I knew that was an option. The third thing was that I'm a very family-oriented person. My family is up in Northeast Ohio. A lot of my extended family is there as well, and they've always been so supportive of me. So I knew that I didn't want to be far away from that support system. UC ended up checking all 3 of those boxes for me, so that's how I ended up here. As far as my favorite college twirling memory, that's a tough one. I'm sure you can attest to that too. It's so hard to pick out what your favorite memories were. But I'd have to say one of my funniest memories was last year, actually. It was one of our last games. It was towards the end of November. It was cold. It was a rainy day, so it was not a good day for college football. And we're at our tailgate concert. And it's been raining through the whole thing. Me and the other 2 twirlers are just soaking wet. Everybody around us is in parkas and raincoats, layered up with 2 pairs of pants on, you name it. And we're just out there in our costumes, just getting drenched. I'm in the middle of my solo performance, going to start my 3 baton. As soon as the first baton goes up in my juggles, hail everywhere. It just starts hailing, and I'm looking up at the sky, and hail is pelting me in the eyes. I had to eventually stop juggling because I was worried I was going to scratch a cornea or something. But everybody just kind of started laughing. So I laughed it off, just kind of went with it. So that has to be one of my favorite, funniest memories, and kind of a testament to how you just have to learn to adapt and laugh off things that happen in college twirling.
Yeah, for sure. Not something that you would typically, endure in a competition, but collegiate twirling throws new things at you all the time. Okay, so collegiate twirling though, I know everybody loves to have a bunch of different options for costumes. So do you have a favorite costume?
I have a pretty big costume wardrobe, but if I had to pick a favorite, I would have to go with my black 2-piece costume. It has our mascot Bearcat logo right across the chest. And funny story about how that costume came to be, I had the worst costume design block trying to get that in by the deadline so that I would have it all done in time for the first game. It had taken me about a week, and I still hadn't come up with something that I really liked. And I'm sitting in my apartment just throwing away sketch after sketch. My boyfriend was totally frustrated with me, and he was like, here, let me try. So he takes the tablet and comes up with this design in 15 minutes. I was so annoyed that it only took him 15 minutes, but I loved the costume. sent it to my mom. She loved the design, and that's kind of how that costume came about. So every time anybody compliments me on it or anything, I always have to give them a quick shout out there.
For sure. I love that one too. I remember seeing that one for the first time and I was like, okay, that's really cool. The way that it like came together is definitely one of my favorites of yours. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, so let's talk about a little bit different these days. Collegiate twirling has definitely taken a turn. It's become virtual. We have virtual competitions and everything. And you actually competed in one, the Collegiate Spectacular. So tell us a little bit about how that contest, like how it worked, because it's very different than competing at a competition in person for like a collegiate event, something like that. So kind of tell us how it was different to you, or if there was any similarities. Tell us about it.
It was definitely very different than an in-person competition. But the way that it was set up, all twirlers from all universities, all organizations were invited to submit a video submission. And the way that it was broken up into two parts. First part was a personal statement where you just sort of introduced yourself and said something about your school, just sort of like a getting to know you type thing. Second part was a video of a routine. And the routine is something similar to what you would see at the Collegiate Spectacular Night at AYOP or at TWIRL, college solo similar to that. From there, the original submissions were then all weeded out, and about, I think it was 56 contestants were then seated into a bracket. And the brackets were set up similar to the NCAA's March Madness basketball tournament. And from there, twirlers went head to head basically with other schools. And it was kind of fun to look through it and see what universities you were against and if it was your school's rival or something like that. So that was pretty neat to see it pan out. But once we got to the Sweet 16, twirlers were allowed to submit a new video. So then they picked the Elite 8. And once you got to the Elite 8 round, you had a live Zoom interview with a panel of 5 judges. So that's a little bit different than anything we're used to in twirling, really. I think at most we're used to having 2 judges per interview. So that was a little different there. And then from that interview, the scores from that interview combined with the scores from the video routine submissions were then combined, and then they picked the final 4. Once you made it to the final 4, you had a live performance over Zoom, and that then is how they picked the winner. And I was fortunate enough to be named the winner. It was such an honor to represent my university and the Bearcats in that and bring home a win for UC, as well as shine some light on the fabulous twirling program that we have here.
That's awesome. Congratulations. I was following along with it the whole time, and so I was so excited to see all the different twirlers come together from all across the US. And I loved your routine. I remember watching it after, I think your mom posted it or you posted it, and I watched the whole thing and I was like, okay, that was awesome. Like, definitely deserved it. So congrats to you. This actually seems very similar to something else that you're involved in. So the CBDNA Intercollegiate Marching Band, you're also a part of that performance that's going to be in January. So tell us a little bit about that. Like, how did you find out about it? Anything like that? Did you enjoy that kind of process?
So actually, I first heard about it. I saw that you posted something about it on your Instagram story, and I didn't really know anything about it. I hadn't seen any other information about it, so I just kind of kept scrolling on Instagram as one does. And then a few weeks later, I got an email saying that my band director had nominated me to be a performer in this intercollegiate marching band virtual performance. So of course I was like, yes, I'd love to. Went through the whole registration process, and then I saw that you were the choreographer for the Twirler, and I was like, oh, okay, there's the connection. It all makes sense now. But yeah, I think it's a great opportunity for collegiate marching band members and twirlers, color guard members, you name it, to come together and create a virtual performance to be shown at the National Collegiate Football Championship, I believe. And then it'll be posted for everybody else to see in January. So I'm super excited to see how that comes out, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
It's awesome. Definitely a first time for everything. So I know I'm really excited to see it all come together, and I'm so excited for everybody to see the hard work that all of you twirlers have been putting into it too. All the videos look great. So I'm really excited for it to be one band, which would be really awesome. So I loved hearing about your twirling journey today. Thank you for sharing and joining me. So
thank you for having me.
So guys, don't forget to follow Anita on Instagram. It'll be Anita_Ney13. And also make sure you follow Twirl Around the World with Lexi, Style+_band, and Intercollegiate MB to keep up with all of this information coming out about pretty much everything that we talked about today. So I hope to see you guys soon, and thank you again for joining me.